life, so I'll say indeed, and greetings unto you, my beloved and holy friends. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you sharing this space with me today. We received mildly concerning news. I mean, you can be as concerned about it as you choose to be, of everything as it is. But we received news that we were, in fact, COVID positive for the last week. Yeah, so apparently, at least this time around, I was only properly sick for like a 1, maybe 2 days, and I'm feeling a lot better now. So I wonder if it's because I've had it before. I wonder because if it's because of the vaccinations. I wonder if it's just a weaker strain. Maybe I had some antibodies. Hopefully I keep some of them around now. Wat sê jy? Always stay positive, lol. Lyk my so, lyk my so. Ons moet maar positief bly. Stay gesond. Stay gezond. Bly gezond. Asseblief. Little Crab King. Little King Crab. We have to stay healthy, man. And try and stay inside, especially if you're sick. You know what? So today was a very interesting day as well. I spent some time with a friend again, who I haven't seen in 2 years, and she's been, doing her own thing. I met her in China. Got to see her again today, and instantly there was a lot going on. Let me just say it in that way. This would be the best way to explain it. In a good way, in a very good way, but in a way that I wasn't anticipating. I try to prepare myself for situations as much as I can, especially social ones. I believe I'm ready, in some sort of context. If I know how many people there are, how many people I might not know, then that gives me enough context to kind of prepare myself. But I was going in the context of seeing a friend again, and there was information communicated that is unexpected, to say the least. And now I'm trying to recuperate. I do the kicking. Well, that is right, man. That is right, Cable. I was actually talking about you today. How are you doing, friend? How are you feeling, man? What's going on, man? Long time. Rara hurts. There's not much going on right now. Not more than that has been going on since we've started these streams. I've been asking a bunch of questions as of late. We've been trying to talk about infinities, trying to talk about happiness, trying to talk about fixing things. And today, my title is quite literally something about being in the mix. Feeling the kicks. That's the one. SDR, hey Candace, my lieve vriend. So lekker om je te zien. I'm just saying hi to you in Afrikaans. Thank you for joining us. You're Candace. Yeah, so feeling the kicks, having these situations in life that come at us like a combative attack, it catches us off guard. We have to block sometimes, we have to dodge the kicks, or we have to accept them, and like I'm feeling the kicks right now. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to be processing them, but I definitely am feeling don't need to fix anything to feel more of it. Maybe, you know what? Level-headedness. That's what I want right now. So we'll write on this little joint, level-headed. The level-headed joint. Hopefully it levels us out a little bit. Viking Queen Marvin, beloved friend, thank you for joining us as well, my man. I do the kicking. Kicks for a fix. Maybe that would be one way to do it. Pay your fixes off with martial combat, either instructions or by actually defending your employer. Like for me now, ever since I've watched Scissor 7, it's this animated show. I believe it's on Netflix. It's about this character called Seven, and he has this pair of scissors. Oh goodness, damn it, my freaking stream dropped. At least the Reddit streams are out. But now I have to tell you friends on the YouTube because you're still waiting. So this character called Scissor7, and he has this friend who is this bodyguard. And he's the hardest individual I've ever seen in my entire life. Like he's really cool. And he has this stance, I think called, the Golden Virgin or something like that, where he just like and then he turns into actual gold, and then no swords can punish or pierce him, and can't be hit, can't be broken, and that's one of his moves. And then the other move he has is like the I think the 7-day arm lock or something like that, where he literally goes into an arm lock of a person and then just keeps them arm locked like that for like 7 days, doesn't let go, doesn't eat food, doesn't do anything, just arm locks this thing. Literally piggybacking him. This dude is going about his own life, going, eating food, sleeping, taking a shower. Dude is arm locked. And now for me, when I think about, bodyguards, that is my embodification of what a bodyguard should be. I love that character so much. The ability for us to fall in love with characters is also something that fascinates me. Technically, in the same way we fall in love with each other's character, we integrate ourselves into this world in our own personal way, in a quite literal persona way, and then people make decisions. We feel very judged sometimes because of that as well, because they have to, because we've put this persona up. This persona needs to be judged, accepted, and then assimilated. Did I miss something here? I think I did. You should see Cloud Atlas. It's a great movie about reincarnation. The beginning is a bit confusing, but you eventually start understanding the story. I think I've seen Cloud Atlas, Viking Queen. I do think so. Like, maybe not, but I do think so. Cable is good to be back, yes. There we are. Here we are again, Cable. How do you feel, Brother Bear? What have you been going through, man? Like, I've been talking about you, like I mentioned that I was talking about you a little bit earlier. I've been talking to you, yeah, you know what I mean. I've been talking about you to Christian. Christian is also a poet. He has so many pieces, dude. Literally, just in his apartment, poems that he's put up on the walls, more than 20 pieces. Even more than 20 pieces, like maybe even close to 30 pieces. And I'm trying to encourage him to publish. And I'm like, I have this friend, dude, Cable, who has already published. He wrote poetry, publishes poetry. It can be done. You, in fact, can also do it. And he's being a little bit resistant. So what should I tell him, Cable? How do I get him to not doubt himself, get him to not be worried about the implications of the whole situation? How did you do it, bro? If you're willing to share, man. I'm doing well, my friend. I've been joining together the most fundamental lessons. So what new information did you receive about your female friend? I received the information that so I can say this in so many ways, but I'm gonna say it kind of comically, I think. Banana, we're all living bananas. I don't know what that means. Maybe Cable will understand that piece. I still enjoy it, kind of. So, to give you an idea, Cable, I went to meet a friend. We were going to meet at this Kauai. Kuaui, I guess is the place's name. We had some juice, and we kind of sat down, and we all had our own chair around this little table. And then she wanted to show us some photos, so she moved her chair a little bit closer, a very bit closer, and then for the rest of the time we were sitting in the restaurant, one of her legs was over mine, and I don't have a problem with that. To me it was oxytocin fundamentally, and we were both just comfortable enough with one another to be touching one another. But after not having seen someone for 2 years, goodness, Reddit, please. Reddit is being rude right now. It's dropping my streams. But yeah, like literally, it was a shock in a good way. It was a shock that I didn't thought I was going to experience. And now I'm in shock. And now I'm like, oh, I guess you can't be shocked unless They should just get shocked, right? Can't be shocked about being shocked. Please, Reddit, don't be rude. Don't be rude, Reddit. Don't be like this. Let's see if it's gonna work now. Mm. Okay, it is. While we wait for the third stream to tune in, hopefully it works. Hopefully the YouTube is going strong. I'm happy that the YouTube at least is working a little bit better than just not working at all, like Reddit is trying to show us right now. What was I gonna say? Mm. Mm. Yeah, no, I kind of lost my train of thought. Sometimes these streams, maybe we're not supposed to talk about what we were talking about. I think the biggest thing is just how these things kick us into a different mindset. It instantly forces me to think about things that I usually don't allow myself to think about. And in a way, I understand. That's probably why I had to have this interaction, probably why I went out of my way to have it. And then the other side of it, I'm like, is it gonna help? Is it gonna be something that I can actually utilize efficiently? Or is this just going to be something that I'm gonna be thinking about aimlessly? And like we do that a lot. How much of the thinking we do is sometimes either repeating the same thing in our heads, solving the same problem in our heads. Maybe we gain some sort of satisfaction from doing these things over and over again, but watching yourself do it and then knowing why you're doing it and then feeling into the nature of, do I want to be doing this? And then also at the same time, on top of all of these things, having chosen all of it. So asking questions about, do I want to or not, after I've already made the decision to. I'm speaking cryptically. I hope it applies to what you're going through in your life as well, friend. But yeah, the kicks of life, if you will, the kicks of life. Oh, I hate Reddit sometimes, dude. Pushing my buttons a little bit, Cable. Please, if you had any comments that I missed, send them again. Back once more. What confrontation are you talking about, dude? We're all cyclic animals. Okay, so I'm guessing you now didn't get to hear what I just said, Cable. So I guess I'll have to say it again. So, what happened was, we went to this place to get something to drink. We were sitting each in our own respective personal space bubble. And then she made an effort to enter my personal space bubble. And I allowed it. And I kept allowing it. And now, in my brain, my personal space is still being invaded. And I'm still allowing it. But I'm now curious as to the things I've been feeling about not wanting my personal space invaded, and yet also still allowing it. It just that's to me the kicks of life, is these biases, these pretendings, these feelings we have about our place in the world and where we are right now, and then the universe is like, oh yeah, you sure about that? I'm here with you, Istia. Thank you so much. I appreciate you joining us in the space, Candace. Marvin is here again. Strange you mentioned these things. As soon as I tuned into the stream, my mind thought that your eyes were changing. My eyes are changing? Really? Maybe they were gleaming a little bit. Like, she's such a wonderful person, and I instantly fall in love with people. And this is what I'm talking about right now. I feel like I'm not supposed to. I feel like I'm either not supposed to, it's not right to at the moment. Like, there's gonna be another time for it. I shouldn't allow myself to na. But I want to. Like, a part of me wants to. But there's also a part of me that knows that want might be selfish. Man, I have a hard time being human sometimes. Haven't I heard Christian's poetry on the podcast? You did. You did actually, dude. Well, folks, we have a case of the humans. Estian is. This is a most infectious disease. There's no cure. You're gonna have so much fun. Dude, Cable, don't start with me, yo. Don't you start with me, man. I don't know if I can. You see, I don't know if I even can. I don't know if the time is right. I don't know if the situation is going to allow for it either. On top of the fact that I feel even if things were ideal, even if the situations were differently, man, I make fun of Christian all the time. I tell him it astounds me how much time you spend messing with yourself. You know, how much energy you put into messing with yourself. And now I see, I'm doing the same thing right now. Level-headedness, friends. We're gonna try and smoke this joint and get a little bit level-headed. If you're joining me, do enjoy with me. Thank you, friends. Estian, being the only berry bush in the field, suddenly he realizes another berry bush is growing next to him. Really? Really in this space? Another berry bush? Yes, this is happening. Just embrace it. The problem is, so in this analogy, let's try and use that as an example, actually, as a catalyst for what I want to talk about. Kind of, I feel, I feel like I'm seeing this beautiful berry bush, but I won't get to stay close to this berry bush, if you will. You know, I'm going to have to continue walking after having eaten from this berry bush. And I would rather not eat from the berry bush than eat from it and then have to walk away from it. And on a survival perspective, it sounds counterintuitive, but on the perspective that I am okay with surviving, you know, without certain things, I'm also okay with the latter. So the question is, at least this, the one that I'm facing, the one I'm making myself face right now, is it going to hurt me more to abstain than it is going to hurt to leave? Probably not. You know, I'm pretty calm. I'm pretty calm. And on that note, I'm going to light a candle for all of our friends who are not here. Kira Burb is one of the friends that have been encouraging me, or inspiring me rather, to light candles. And every time I light a candle now on these streams, I light it with the intention of bringing the light to the friends that tune into these streams, always shine, but aren't necessarily here right now to shine themselves. Does a leaf plan where it will go once it falls from the tree? Candace, stop being so freaking clever. The wind takes it wherever it goes. You're right. You're right. The thing is, Candace, this is where I'm coming from. I don't want to hurt anyone. And even the thought, even the possibility in my mind of hurting someone makes me reevaluate, kind of recenters me into this understanding that I would rather be calm and alone for as long as I need to be, instead of potentially, even potentially hurting someone else. You know, and I don't know if that's me being selfish. Is that the opposite of being selfish? I don't know. What I do know is that it's a whole ass person, Candace. It's a whole ass person, and I'm barely know how to take care of myself. Like, I don't actually. Man, I'll be back in a second, friends. Do bear with me. I'm coming. I'm coming. uh, Christian is, I think, something, playing some sort of tabletop game. A little machine. You will be selfish. And the most selfish. No, actually, Cable, I don't allow myself that at all, dude. Like, literally, not even a little bit. You will. It's the best pleasure felt in your life. Candace says, you cannot hurt anyone by being honest, my friend. It is the person who is being told to let the words affect them. I understand your concern, but if the feeling is in the moment, then that is the time. Man, Candace, thank you for being here with us today, to be able to share these things with me. You of all people know this, Estia. Now is now, and if the moment is now, then it's now. You can make everyone, you can not make everyone happy. And pursue only yourself, but there is nothing wrong with that. You friends are making so much sense. You're making so freaking much sense, and yet, man, like Marvin, you especially now, you can only make yourself happy. And in that way, you ought to. You deserve to be happy, at least. Life kicks our ass enough. Finding some happiness in the midst of that is very important. Not to be selfish. Hard time being human. I told you. You got the humans. Had a case of the humans, dude. Man, a case of the humans. Like, I mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. Me and Christian got positively diagnosed with COVID as well. Tested on Friday, and we got the results today. How long are we gonna continue doing this as well? You know, it's mildly concerning. You know, there's parts of us that want to go back to things being normal, and there's parts of us that know there's no such thing as normal anymore. But what comes next? What's gonna be the new thing, if you will? You can tell the other berry bush the truth and your concerns. The ideal outcome is she understands and wants to simply enjoy your energy and the moment with you, with no expectations, but having fun. We'll see. You know, I'm still talking to her. We've been talking, like, I met her in China, you know, literally almost 2.5 years ago now. 2 years and maybe like 3 months ago or something. You know, and me and her, we were like each other's escape in the area we were working in. So we would come together in our office space, and we would just have these conversations. We would sing together. We would, you know, make funny noises. We would animate into each other's stories and listen properly and care for one another. And yeah, it's trippy. It's trippy seeing her again now and remembering all of those good things that we had together. Darkness. Hey bro, what's up? I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder a week ago, man. But I'm doing good. A lot better now, thanks to God. I'm happy to hear that, Darkness. Under medication now. So you're under medication for your anxiety disorder? Is it helping? Like, I'm guessing you're saying you're better now. But are you better on an emotional, physical, personal level? Or do you feel better because you have access to this medication now? And I'm so happy to hear you got help, Darkness. Well done, friend. Well done, man. I hope you feel even better. Only better, only better. I told you. You will, most definitely. The universe and you set the situation so pretty. Yeah, I know, okay, well. I don't know what I want sometimes. I think that's the problem, dude. I take SSRIs and anti-anxiety pills as well, man. Okay. Serotonin, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. Do they help you, Darkness? Like when I took them, they messed with my sleep. I gained some weight. I was just not having a good time. Like, I'm guessing they help you, my friend. Like, and One for serotonin and the other is for anxiety. I know, dude. I know, man. They did help me tremendously, man. I'm so happy to hear that, brother. So in the way that they help you, again, I want to ask this question maybe a little bit differently. Do you, on a personal day-to-day level, feel better? Like your personal experience of life is better because of these experiences, in the way where having your coffee in the morning makes things better, smoking a joint can make things a little bit better. Is it better in that way? Or is it better in a mental way where the things you're saying, the things you're looping through, the conversations you're having with yourself, the way you're addressing yourself, are those things changing because of these helpful little chemicals you got, the store-bought chemicals you got? If you're not producing your own, store-bought is fine. We will never know what we want. We just want to be happy. That's it. For me, on top of that, we want others to be happy as well, Candace. And sometimes we are willing to sacrifice our own happiness for that other person's happiness, unfortunately. Even my vitamin D is 11, and I'm taking vitamins weekly. Weekly? Maybe, shouldn't you take vitamins daily? It's better on mental health level, man. I can relax without feeling anxious. Okay. Man, that's something that's really interesting about human behavior as well, where we can get ourselves into these states of anxious inactivity. We're not doing anything, and then we're anxious because of that. And that stuff, that feeling is very much not fun. You basically get tracked. 50,000 IU a week. Individual units a week. Vitamin D, I'm guessing you're talking about. I'm not exactly sure, Darkness. I took my whole team to a safar shop. What a charming moment. I'm happy to hear that, Poppy. It sounds really cool, actually. I love you, Mel. Oh, of course. And I love you as well, Cable. Thank you so much, my friend, for showing me your love in this moment, for reminding me that love is true. Yeah, vitamin D3. 50,000 individual units. That's cute, actually. 50,000, that's a limited amount. At least in the way that I understand molecules. That's a very small amount. Oh, Mel. Your exact situation, word for word, is what I felt, what I lived through. I chose to feel, to taste. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm so happy that you are, here with me to listen to these words right now as well. Like, it's technically you. What an excellent looking joint. Mother Turf, my friend. If you become super duper famous as a rock star, hire me. I'll be your joint roller. Get into like the Snoop Dogg level of joint rolling. Just have a full-time employee who he pays $60,000 with medical and stuff to roll joints. I would love that job. I would be so good at it. I take vitamin D3 drops as well, 2,800 units a day. So you take 50,000 units a day as like a vitamin, and then you take daily as well. Like, that's what I'm picking up you're saying right now, Darkness. Tell me you're an Aussie having a moment without telling me you're an Aussie having a moment. Terra, I'll tell you you're wrong because I'm South African, dude. Technically I'm South African. I'm very much in the South still, so still down under, We're also walking on planet Earth upside down right now, but not exactly all the way that side. So much pain I felt later, but I wouldn't have had it the other way. I get you, dude. Like, I feel that completely. Yeah, 50,000 weekly. Okay. So you do both. I'm guessing you do both then. Like, I have a bunch of questions, but I would have these questions if I could talk to you, one on one. Like, questions that give you information, but not necessarily information we want to share here right now. Darkness, thank you, friend, for being willing to share as much as you have, and take some by the sun as well. I mean, technically, vitamin D we get from the sun, so I'm guessing you're saying that, right? Like, you get some vitamin D just from the sunlight as well. Do you have a deficiency in vitamin D, overall? Do you have any other deficiencies that you know of? Marvin knows what I'm talking about. Marvin, stop being so clever. Hey, Cable, thank you for the love, dude. Genuinely, man. Oh, Mother Turf, you flatter me, dude. Thank you again. What I meant about being selfish is that you will want to desire. It's fine to desire. You know, without desire, nothing can be. Without the desire for there to be something, there would be nothing. So, desire is very fundamental to this reality as well. And I don't think it's something to be feared or something to be belittled or made evil. You know, it's okay to want things, it's okay to desire things. I'm just trying to be aware of my desires in a way where it doesn't come at the expense of another person. Yeah, it's 11. It should be at. Oh, okay. So, yeah, that number didn't make sense to me perfectly. Okay. Should be at least between 25 and 30. That's pretty low, almost like half, less than well, yeah, less than half of what it's supposed to be. Do you eat healthy foods? Do you eat like high vitamin containing foods? Is it a genetic thing? Is your digestive tract not absorbing all of the vitamins from it, maybe? Like, that's the immediate thing that come to mind. That's good. If you naturally want something, don't stop it. Follow your own heart. You're making sense because you're telling things you know. You don't have to take care of someone else, Mel. Just be with them. You just need to be with the person, and everything will be the most simple and beautiful. And okay, well, your friends are making so much sense. I feel like you are the ones, giving advice today. Well, not even giving advice, just sharing wisdom. I do, but I had depression and generalized anxiety disorder, and I couldn't eat because of that. Okay, that can definitely affect it as well, right, darkness? For me, when I got into those extreme states of depression, it wasn't so much that I had a hard time eating, just I had a hard time preparing if I'm going to eat something, right? I don't know if you had the same experience, darkness. That's what I'm sharing. Like where I would be willing to eat things, but I won't be willing to eat something if I had to cook it or if it took any energy for me to manifest it. Easy things, chips or takeaway or sodas or sweets. Those things came so easy, and I would eat those in excess. I actually got overweight because of my excess, consuming of those things. It's curious to me how depression can affect our food intake. Even cortisol plays a role in depleting your vitamins, Yeah, I do know that. Cortisol basically stimulates inflammation as well, and inflammation becomes something that your body actively has to combat. So, definitely. Yeah, goodness. Cortisol, it has its place, we don't really want to go without it either, but it is a little bit of a bitch. Messes with us, stresses us out about things that we can't necessarily change. Good old overactive amygdalas pressing our buttons. You need. Good day, Melty Moore. I love you, friend. Gobbledygook. Love you too, my friend. I appreciate you sharing this space with us. Man, we've been talking about. I don't know how I'm supposed to say this. I can't really sum it up. About expecting one thing and getting another, and then because of the other thing you got, you start to interpret whether or not the thing you thought you were gonna get is the thing that you actually wanted. Now the thing that you're being presented with is something that you could see yourself wanting, but that want also feels like it might come at the expense of either future pain, potential pain, guaranteed pain, you know. And in that way, it's a little bit difficult. But it's also just be in a complete state of speculation as well, Gob. So as we do, tripping out about stuff that we only have a certain amount of power over. It helps a little bit though to have these conversations because at least in this way we can kind of gain more perspective on it together. You friends have given me so much perspective already, and I already feel like my understanding, my interpretation of this is a little bit fuller. I feel a little bit more calm. of what comes next. Hermias Plur. I've been thinking just about how much we change over time, and yet we stay the same as well. Especially now, I'm meeting this friend again after 2 years of not seeing one another. And instantly there is this, I don't know if rapport is the right word. Maybe just an understand. I guess rapport is the right word. You know, that comes back. All of the things you find yourself thinking when you're talking to a person, a specific person, for example, comes back to you again. Things you feel, the things that you experience together, kind of have this, I guess, just something you have in common, right? This thing that you share. And it is technically metaphysical in nature because it doesn't exist. It doesn't actually exist. But the shared memory, the shared experience of having done something together, having had X amount of conversations, having spent a certain amount of time in a certain environment together, it almost shifts the way that you see one another and the way that you interpret the time that you could spend with that person. And again, this friend, me and her were like each other's lifeboats almost. We were working for a little training school, they call them in China, teaching kids English. And we had to spend, I think, 9 hours a day in the offices, but only 2 hours of that day was like actual teaching time or something like that. So we had to sit in the office and like prepare classes and make notes, nonsense basically, while we're waiting, getting our hours in. And during those, pre-hours, me and her, we sat next to each other and we just had conversations. We talked about so many things. It was only me and her who had the willingness to confide in one another. And as a result of that, it kind of became this separation or area of contention, I guess would be the correct grammatical way to say it, between us and the rest of our colleagues. Because we were so, and I'm saying this because that's the way that I would say it if I was to look at what was happening. We were so into one another, and it never divulged into anything romantic. Even though we had that energy, we were sharing that type of energy, like genuinely looking at each other, smiling, listening attentively. The type of way that you can love a person, every single other way, but because we were, a dude and a girl, there was this interpretation of that. And then I had to leave. I had to leave there as well. And it was something that I didn't enjoy. Not only didn't I enjoy the experience of leaving the place that I was familiar with, but there was also this void, this gap that I usually could be spending and having like good conversations with this friend of mine, now suddenly completely gone. And that's, I think, where I'm stuck. That's where I'm actually getting stuck, is because I know what it feels like to genuinely enjoy someone's time in a way where you want to spend more of that, right? And I also realize that I'm going to have to move again. And I don't know if it's a part of me that doesn't want to stay in one place, if it's a part of me that wants to see more of the world, if it's a part of me that is scared of settling down. I don't know if that's even the case. I've wanted to be in a committed. My very first relationship was a 2.5 year long relationship. So my initial interpretation of what a relationship is supposed to be is this long term relationship. Being with someone in a way that is your someone, right? And after having lost that relationship, that someone feeling is very difficult to get back. And it's almost like we don't want to give it back to ourselves. Maybe I'm just fucking with myself. Oh, Geeko, hello to you, my beloved friend. Thank you so much for joining us. Hey, Melty, I've been listening and I needed to hear this. Flower ID, I love you, my friend. We deserve to be loved. We deserve to have loved ones in our lives. Goodness. I hope you know your loved friends. Like, genuinely. One wise man said, "What you are today, you will be tomorrow." I actually like that. What you are today, you will be tomorrow. I am happy. I am joyous. I am giving. I am abundant. I am expansive and experiencing. I am present and beloved. I'm loving. What you are today, you will be tomorrow. I feel another way of saying that as well is the whole what follows I am follows you. What a trip. Thank you for sharing that, Kiko. I like that, man. Yep, millionaire tricks. It's true, lol. I let my ex go who I shouldn't have. Still 4 years later, doubting my life. Good hearted. I'm so sorry to hear that. Millionaire tricks. I'm watching my friend go through the same thing right now, very, very personally. And I'm being expected to be patient in that way as well, millionaire. So I want to talk to you about this. I feel there's a kinship that I feel to you right now. He's been talking about this, this significant other he had who he loved so much. He loved with every fiber of his being, poured love into her like no other being before. And then he lost that relationship. Well, he had responsibilities that had to be taken care of. His mom was passing away. He was learning how to be a scuba instructor, had to leave that dream behind to go and take care of his mom during her last days. And then when he moved away, this girlfriend left him as well. So that is Christian's, experience in the last year. He's been dealing with that for the last year. And it's been breaking my heart. In the first few weeks of this year, me and Christian had 2 hour conversations every single day. He was calling me every single day just to get this stuff out, just to talk about this stuff. And it was like literally hours of conversations about these sort of things. Now, when he talks about these things, it's a lot more limited. We're not talking hours about these old relationships that he feels he's lost, but he does talk about it. And yesterday, I was getting irritated because I felt there was this masculine part of me that wants to tell him to move on, wants to tell him to just get over it. But I understand, I felt that, I still feel that, and feeling like you've lost that thing, that special someone who is your someone. And then, in your case now, 4 years later, millionaire tricks, still feeling like you've made this mistake. We can't do that to ourselves either. We don't, I feel on a personal level, we don't deserve to do that to ourselves. It's one thing to make a mistake and to feel like, oh fuck, I've made that mistake now, but it's a whole other thing to actively mess with yourself. Tell yourself you are a mistake maker because of the mistake that you made. That's not how it works. And we deserve to find someone else as well. It's just weird how after we've in our own minds had it, it becomes almost this theoretical impossibility to find it again. But we will. Millionaire tricks, I believe. I genuinely believe we will. It's just a matter of time. Continue showing up, friend. I love you, man. I hope you're doing okay. Good morning, Aunt B, beloved friend. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing, my friend? Ninja Bananas here as well. Good morning to you, beloved brother. Thank you for joining us. Millionaire Trick says, I had an ex, and after that, I'm guessing, but it can't be the same. It's the thing when my ex really loved me, lol, and done everything to me to not let me go, and I always chased her when she tried to break up with me, but it was a lot of chasing. Like, the only way to get a girl who will remind you about looks, about your life, and how she wants to be with you, and it's hard to find someone who is fully into you. Oh, very much so. Finding someone who is fully into you. Weirdly enough, unfortunately, millionaire tricks, people, and I think this might be in some ways a good thing, people are more in love with themselves right now. And it feels like it's difficult for me to say that, because I feel it's not a man. I feel like I'm being an asshole just talking about these things, but it's like a egoic love of self. It's a love of self for the ego and the bodily attachment to that. And in that way, there is, because of that, this superficial layer of love that is expected of themselves for themselves. And when that is kind of where your amount of self-love ends, then that is where your self-love is going to start for another person as well. You won't be able to really appreciate a good conversation or a compassionate heart or vision for the future or any of these things in a partner if the only thing that you expect of them is to have a certain outwardly appearance. And outwardly appearances go all the way up to financial security as well in this world, because technically it's outward appearance. Every bit of finances and things you buy with the finances that you've earned, it's outside of you. It's quite, well, I mean, unless you're buying books and then reading it, technically that's one way to get stuff inside of you that you're paying for. I'm sorry. But, on that level, for instance, if you value yourself and your success and your happiness with how much stuff, houses, cars, whatever you have, then you're gonna be looking for the same thing in the world as well. But when the true depth, the real depth, is within you, and you already have that, it's not something you have to earn, not something you have to struggle for. It's almost something you have to accept. And it is difficult. It is difficult. We aren't taught how to accept ourselves. Technically, a person that doesn't accept themselves tries to fix that lack of self-acceptance through whatever means. And those means usually have economic implications. That is a life lesson that will allow you to prosper later in life. On B, I hope so, friend. I'm trying to learn them now. Trying to learn as many of them as I can, but I feel I'm also forgetting some of them sometimes. And it makes me feel like I'm stupid. The loss of love is never something that you ever fully recover from. The wounds manifest themselves in behaviors. Heal the wounds by changing the behaviors. Wow. Ninja, what a beautiful way of seeing it. I love that. Hmm. Heal the wounds by changing the behaviors. I'm like psychoanalyzing myself to see what behaviors I've been exhibiting because of these losses in love. Suddenly, I find multiple cases of extreme fuck up itch, as we all do sometimes. It's okay. Doesn't help to mess up ourselves too much. For sure, man. You're loved, millionaire. You're so loved, my friend. That hurts. That hurt is not for nothing. I don't think it is. I think it tells you that the thing you had at least was real as well. And maybe that's a very important thing to realize. Maybe it's a good way to learn for your next experience, how to appreciate it properly. Maybe that's, a reason for it as well. Where do you stream apart from Reddit? I stream on YouTube as well right now, Millionaire Tricks. Like if you go onto the Meltmore profile, you should be able to find the YouTube link. We do stream on the YouTube. Like technically the YouTube is more stable than Artban is right now. I never had a girl like that but I never had a girl like that though, I'm guessing. But genuinely, I lost someone good. She's not lost, Millionaire Tricks. She's not lost. She's still living her entire life, being an entire being, experiencing her entire experience. I genuinely feel, the reason that we're so concerned about death is because of like selfishness as well. And technically, this is now a death of a relationship, right? And in this death of this relationship, we feel like there's parts of us that have died as well. Having lost someone good, in your words. But they're not lost. She's still out there. And if you take the expanded view of consciousness, technically, you're experiencing her life as her as well. Maybe not being with you is a good thing for her. And that might be a very difficult thing to accept as well. I've had that thought, like the relationships I've been in, I imagine having gone through all of the things we've been through, the time specifically, and still being with these people. And in my personal opinion, I genuinely feel, and this is a hard personal opinion to come to, I genuinely feel like they're better off not being with me. And that's okay. That's completely okay as well, Millionaire Tricks. Because there is going to be someone who's going to be right for us. And the fact that these relationships didn't work out means that they didn't work out, If they were supposed to work out, they would have worked out. And they didn't. And if we can live into more of acceptance in that way, I think we'll be much happier as a result. Everyone's in need of love and trying to find ways to love themselves, even if it's not in the right way. Yeah, you're completely right, Aunt B. And it's a part of our humanity almost. It's not something we can escape. Hey, look who it is! Nova! Thank you for joining us, dude. Freaking 2 a.m. I have this friend online who says he's got too much love to give. Dude, I'm trying, bro. I'm trying. Actively giving as much as we can, Nova. Almost like how you felt when reconnecting with Christian. Yeah, like exactly like that. Well, almost exactly like that, actually, Marvin. Very much so. In order to find someone who is fully into you, you need to have a solid, basic understanding of yourself, the good and the bad. Know your toxicities and know how to stop them. Or at least know them, be aware of the things you're thinking, of the narrative that you're kind of drumming up in yourself. Goodness, we can be victims. Oh, we love being victims. Someone says something, someone does something a little bit inconsiderate, someone doesn't do something considerate, then we start, we take this very nice and high seat. I wish more of you friends would understand this, but there is this scene from a character called Boa Hancock from One Piece, and she's this princess, and she has this move where she has this extreme down look, but she leans. She like literally does like a how low can you go lean, extreme down look, points at you, and I feel that energy, that exact energy, that you should be. uh, you should be able to at least feel like there's some sort of acceptance in that situation as well, man. Well said. Stop them. Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's what we do. We take that stance where we're like looking down on whatever was done, whatever was said, whatever experienced in that moment, and then taking this higher horse. And it's never a good position to be in, because kind of like approaching someone else with that experience of, oh, you this, me that, it instantly creates separation. Just being aware of them. You don't even have to you don't even have to know how to stop them if you can just be aware of them first. You can let them happen still, as long as you're aware of them, and then you can let them happen less and less and less. But very beautifully said, Ninja. Thank you, Professor Scene, for joining us as well, man. True though, you're on point, Ninja. Very much so. You're behind your ears now. Forgive yourself. Thank you. Thank you, Aunt B. Forgiving ourselves is very important as well. Setting yourself free from this narrative that you're somehow doing things so wrong and that you need to be punished or you don't deserve certain things in life. Man, humans and stories. We like a good story, huh? We really like a good story. Do you have any good stories to tell me? I'm trying to think of a good story right now. This is a little bit of an inappropriate story. Do I want to share it? I'm feeling you friends are like, yeah, Mel. So we're always trying to be, at least in some way, very appropriate. So maybe we can share an inappropriate joke. And it goes, this woman is going house to house, gorgeous woman, going house to house, selling blueberries. No. This man, is going house to house, selling blueberries. And he has the most beautiful blueberries, but he only has like a certain amount of them left. And he's been having pretty limited sales. And he gets to this gorgeous woman's house, absolutely breathtaking. And she lets him inside and he sits down and she is talking to him about these berries and asking if there's any other way to make it happen, and like the conversation kind of goes in that direction. Like he leaves the room for a little bit to go to the bathroom, and upon returning, the woman is completely naked. And he starts crying. He starts profusely crying. And she instantly has an extreme amount of concern, and she asks him, well, what's wrong? And he's like, oh goodness, I've just been having such a horrible time as of late, My car broke down, so I've been walking to deliver berries. I lost my job recently, that's why I'm selling berries instead of, working a normal job. My, kid has a broken arm. my wife divorced me, and I have to pay alimony and for the kid's broken arm right now. Things are so horrible, and now I'm gonna get fucked out of my berries. I don't know if that story is good to you, but it's just, to me, it's just this beautiful analogy of life sometimes as well. When we think things are bad, sometimes we'll have these good experiences as well, and it can still be seen as just another bad experience. We can have those kind of perspectives, and it could be a little bit of a funny thing as well. Because we do that to ourselves. You're like, you cry because it's gonna happen. I have this friend online. It's called being self-aware. You're completely right, Nova. What's the difference between someone who grew up with everything, family, friends, got whatever they wanted, versus someone who grew up with family but were very lonely a lot of their life, and they got what they wanted but not all the time? That sounds very specific, Nova. I think human beings have a lot of differences when it comes to those exact same situations. Like, all of us adapt differently. So, like, you have to give me the answer because I don't feel like it collapsed into one answer for that. Have you read Ram Dass? I've listened to Ram Dass, Polishing the Mirror. As much as I can, friend. Acceptance is transcendence. Completely right. Thank you for joining us as well. Powerful day. Do you know about Hinduism? I do know a bit about Hinduism. I wouldn't call myself a scholar, but I have some understanding. Like, most of my understanding comes from listening to Alan Watts, to be completely honest. I haven't lost. No, you haven't, millionaire. You'll never lose. Like, not death. Exactly, my friend. That's what I'm saying. And even in death, it also cannot be lost. It just continues, becomes a part of again, melts into. Sometimes, in order to grow, we need to be alone. And once the growth from being alone is stalled, it means you're ready to grow with another being. What a good point that is as well, Ninja. I haven't actually thought about it in that way. Very cool. You just blew my mind. Mine too, actually, right? That's really cool. I don't think I'm done growing. Am I ever gonna be done growing? I don't think so. That's the problem. Opinions on witchcraft. I'm not really too familiar with witchcraft. I would like to know more. I would like to know how real it is, for example. Is witchcraft actually a thing? Is it? Someone tell me. Someone show me. And in that way, I'm kind of fascinated by it. If anything, it's just gonna be the manipulation of the energy that is, so, yeah, sign me up. Pitchforks. Suddenly gets burned at the stake. Victim here. I do it as well. Aunt B. I do it all the time, and I know. And then I see myself doing it, and then I'm like, bro, what are you doing? You being stupid? Yeah, I'm being a little bit stupid. I'm being stupid. Okay, I'm gonna stop being stupid. Especially when it's our loved ones. We do that with our loved ones, right, Aunt B? Our loved one doesn't do something, doesn't say something, doesn't, show us something that we would like to see in that situation, and it can be very instant. It will be like a social situation, like you say something and you expect something to be said back, for example. And then that person is in their own trip, and they're like, kind of with you, and you just try to share something deep, and then you're like, oh, woe is me, oh, trips out. I trip out. Relax. Take a breath. We're not victims. We're literally infinite beings, and we just use that infinite power to trip ourselves out. It's funny. It's sometimes funny. Tell me something good, Mel. I need your fire today. Uncle Becky, I'm falling in love again. I said it. Yeah, well, at least I am falling in love with the idea of falling in love again. Maybe that would be the better way to say it. How about you? Is that something good? I hope so. I'm just kidding, but I feel that sometimes. I know we do. I think we all have the capacity to, on P. And I feel we become so happy when we just don't allow ourselves to. At least not get too far with it. If you realize you're getting into this trip of self pity, some sort of victimhood, then just remind yourself you have things to be grateful for. Like, just remind yourself, oh, I can see things right now. I can see my environment, or I can feel things. I can rub my hands together. If I do it faster, goodness, now there's heat. Isn't that neat? Clothing, thin tubes of carbon extruding out of the top of our scalps. Then suddenly, I do not know how I'm a victim. I'm like, am I a victim? I don't feel like a victim. Is this what a victim feels like? No. Right? We're not victims, my friends. You realize it's only 19 days, your mission will be complete. Uncle Becky, unfortunately, the masculine's mission is never complete, is it? We just keep going until we die. So I've made that decision. I've realized that in a way in my life where that is just how things are, and now I've just chosen what I want to do that with. Anything else, literally anything else, if I'm going to do it every single day, you can bet your ass I'm gonna do it sharing love with you friends, you having love shared with me. Right now at this moment, Uncle Becky, just having you in this place, I feel your presence. I feel all of your presences. And, well, if you send a message and I know that you are present, if you... Like, we are sharing these moments, and to me it's something that is so beautiful. So 19 days until we finish an entire year of doing this. It's gonna be one coin in the bucket of how many years we're gonna live together, Uncle Becky. I'm looking forward to growing with you, friends. This is just the start of all of it. What's your dream for the future? My dream for the future is a society, where we actually have proper human decency towards one another. Not even on a societal person by person basis, but that's the core of the society, take care of human beings. Everything else is secondary. Literally everything else. When it comes to that, we have proper studies right now about what it takes to make a happy human being. And spoiler alert, it's people. Not things, not houses, not cars, not vacations. Human beings, other people in your life is what makes life worth living. So if we can't come to that collective realization as a society and start caring for the people, because they are literally these entire universes worth of experience, encompassed within this bipedal being, it's gonna be a rough future. So that's the future that I envision. How about you, friend? And yet it's just the beginning. It really is. Literally just the beginning. We're gonna go on B. Thank you for joining me in this journey. It means so much. I can't even. I know a great story. It's older and quite the read. Perhaps you've heard the Bible. Ninja, I like that. Especially after the joke I told. That is the exact response that you had to send me. On B and Flower ID and Professional Scene. I'm happy you friends appreciated the joke as well. Thank you for indulging me and sending me some laugh emojis and a lol. Genuinely. Good. Good, you can stop, you can relax. Where do you stream as well? Sorry, I was asking again, quit the stream. I stream on YouTube as well. Thank you, Millionaire Tech. Like, if you follow the profile, I think you have to now search in the search bar my username. Maybe they've made it difficult, or you have to scroll down until where you can see the subreddit I'm streaming to, and then my name is gonna be somewhere there. Yeah, it's a mission, I know, but I stream on YouTube at Meltmore. If you just search Meltmore, you should be able to find me as well, man. Yeah, there we go. Haywire Hill. Excuse me, are you not an amazing dancer? I think I'm an amazing dancer, but that's completely up to my personal subjective experience of it. People tell me I can dance, and I love dancing, but I consider this type of thing that we're doing right now as mental gymnastics. So in a way, dancing as well. What's your favorite food? My favorite food is probably like if I so the way that I interpret the question, your favorite food is what food would you be willing to eat every day for the rest of your life? Because it's one thing to have a favorite food, it's a whole other thing to want to eat something every day for the rest of your life. And the thing I would be willing to eat every day for the rest of my life is like a vegetable melody stir fry with some sort of protein source. You can keep adding different vegetables if you want different stir fries, but I would go stir fry Nova. Oh yeah, I found you, Gatus G. Damn, YouTube looks different. Oh, I'm guessing Gatus G is you, right? Tricks. Thank you for joining us, Gators. Do you want to be called Tricks or do you want to be called Gators? I might forget if you're just Millionaire Tricks again, but I try to do like your name, dude. It sounds pretty sick. Gators. GA plus TIS. Yeah, Millionaire Tricks. There we go, man. Either way, either way, I appreciate you sharing this space with us, dude. Thank you. Like this is a little bit of a quieter. Like when we're outside again, we'll actually have proper views in the background. Got this. Oh no, get got this. Got this. I'm sorry. Almost like gratis. Got this. Sorry. Maybe it's just me poking fun at you a little bit, dude. You haven't caught the salsa dancing streams, not just yet, not just yet, my friend. But we deserve, my friend. We do. Nice, you saying it proper again. Right, though. Got this. I like. Fortunately, you did help me at least. You did. This is beautiful. Oh, awareness spawns learning and allows change. The greatest apology is changed behavior. Ooh, that one devastates me. You're so right. The first thing that I felt on the is saying that to my dad. In the context of him and my mom fighting as much as they have been in the last few years. Like, I don't feel my mom and my dad trust one another on a genuine level. And seeing that devastates me. It makes me so sad. On a level of watching my parents go through life, trying to find their own understanding of it as well, their own dreams, their own what life is supposed to be, and seeing how hard they work, seeing the amount of pain they experience going through experience of scarcity, and then watching in their older age how there's infighting as well. There's a lot of disconnection between them, and desperately wanting to help recuperate that experience, that connection, but the behaviors aren't changing, aren't they? No matter how many times we talk, how many times we say things, there's like a, oh, okay, oh, I'm sorry, oh, I did it because of that, but never an actual change of behavior. Mm-hmm. Where are you from? I'm from South Africa, Gate. Got this. I'm from South Africa. Yeah, man, divorce is shit. And not being able to be with your full family is weird. It is weird. Like, I'm actually gonna get to spend Christmas this year with my family again. I'm looking forward to it. It is weird not spending time with your family. Why is it so hard to find your streams on Reddit? It should be at u/Meltmore, one word. You should be able to find it as well, Nova. Like me, here as well, they had that for years happening, but my mom gave up, which is good for her. Like that year as well. Your mom gave up, which is good for her, so they divorced, I'm guessing is what you're saying. The unfortunate thing that I'm feeling as well is that it would be good for my mom as well. You know, I don't think it would be good for my dad. I think he would be devastated and he would realize then, especially just what he had. But for my mom, I feel it would be good for her, and it hurts to even think those things. I don't know, Reddit is crazy to find someone. I can't even find the live streams. Same man, the year's first Christmas I'm spending in the kitchen, but with my mom's boyfriend, not my dad. Goodness. Oh, got this. You know, I've imagined my mom no longer being with my dad, but I've never imagined my mom with a boyfriend. I don't know if I like that. me being mom's little boy. It's like, oh, my mom. Look, my mom. Oh, this is beautiful. Apology to others and or to self. Faith in humanity restored. Uncle Becky. So much love to you, brother Bear. I don't know what divorce is like. I don't have a dad, but I'm sure divorce is worse than not growing up with a father. Just have a just had a father, you grew up with him, and then experiencing the separation within the family so suddenly. I think it would be very difficult, you know, and in that way, I'm very grateful to have had a stable family life as well, where my parents weren't separated. They, for the most part, loved one another. It was domestics and all of that with my mom and dad, and I had to sit in between it when I was a kid. I'm so sorry to hear that, Gatas. I can't even imagine the pain you had to go through. Ooh, feeling powerless and wanting to defend your mom as a kid in that way. I can't even imagine. Totally ruined my mind and like the personality or how I am, because it fucks with your head and you don't want to be the same. I get you, dude, completely. Like my dad isn't abusive, but I feel the same way where I don't want to be like him. He's not abusive, but he definitely is unapologetic. Maybe that would be the way to say it. And he's unapologetic in I'm the right one type of way, you know. And I understand a lot of people get into that mindset, but I desperately don't want to be like that. So one of the biggest things that you friends know that we do is I'm more than willing to admit that I don't know anything. I actually don't know. Actually, I don't know. You know, so you get to say what you want to say. You get to share your opinions with me. You get to correct me, and I'll be more than willing to, you know, change my opinion. So if anything, I learned that from my dad in reverse. Must be painful. Flat out didn't have a dad. Nova, and look at how well you turned out nonetheless, brother Bear. Like, still a loving being. I'm so sorry, guys. It must really suck. Like, you are so loved. I mean, in that case, you know, so that's double bad almost in the way that you were bringing it up, Nova. Not having a dad can be seen as better as than having a dad and then them divorcing and separating. Even worse than that is having a dad, him being abusive towards your mom as a kid, not being able to change that situation, and then, you know, going on in that kind of, it separates as well. Oh goodness. Katas, all I see from you, for what it's worth, is a loving being. A being that wants to share information, wants to share love. So even though you went through these things, I don't think it messed you up. If anything, it just made you a little bit more feeling and aware as well. It really isn't. It really isn't a sorry anymore. I felt neglect from my mom as as a child, she wasn't there. She probably had to work so much, Nova, being an only mom, dude. Like a single mom. I can only imagine how difficult it must be as well. My dad nearly stabbed me with a knife because he lost his wallet and but he's crazy in the head, narcissist. But you can tell he's just the same, just pretending not to be the same. Yeah, yikes. How do you feel about him after? This makes me glad not to have a father. It changes the perspective of it a bit, Nova. Like, I think you would be an amazing father, because you have this perspective as well. Always losing his head, angry, negativity, just ask him for something, he'd bring shit up. Or, like, helping him get money back as well. He gave it up and lost it all. Like 20K in the last year. Made you stronger. Closed Bitcoin, just missed the dip. Then he moans about me asking for help. I'm homeless. Dude, like, I do not even know how to begin responding to that. Maybe, is there any redeeming qualities in the social interactions you have with him? He kicked me out of my mom. My mom kicked me out. So what else can I do? I always found last at jobs. I always don't last at jobs because of mental health. What mental health are you suffering with? If you'd be willing to share, my friend. How are you feeling today? You weren't feeling so well yesterday, right? I wasn't feeling too well yesterday. I was a little bit tired, but I'm feeling a little bit better again today. It's dipping like one day on, one day off, one day on, one day off type of vibes. So we'll see how I feel tomorrow. Maybe I'll be a little bit off again. Hopefully not. I'm on the YouTube now with you. I see you, my friend. Thank you for joining us, dude. Thanks for sharing about your parents. Thank you for listening, friend. Like, and I know, I'm not sharing these experiences as an, oh, look at me, I'm sharing these experiences because I know these are human experiences that we share. And being willing to share these things, being willing to talk about these subjects, gives us a little bit of leeway, a little bit of room to allow ourselves to think about these things without feeling bad about it, because we're just human beings. And we're so complex. We think about so many things. Everything, man. If I hear bangs, I want to grab my head, like shake it, etc. for years and years. And my dad is scaring me and shouting and banging doors, but it's still with me at 21. It's like the automatic feels like I'm getting more trauma each time. Whew. Like, Gatas, have you done research about psychedelic therapy? If you are interested, go and do some research about that. I think like listening to your symptoms, that might be something that would be right up your alley. Yeah, never had friends. My mom wasn't there a lot. She's a truck driver. I felt especially more alone, but I've learned to enjoy my own company. I love it, man. You have to. Your dad is a true narcissist. It's just horrible that he's done to you and your family as a whole. And yet, I don't really want to give him any power. I don't even want to say something about it. I want to give the power to Gatas instead. Because, like, he's the one in this moment. He's the one that transcended that experience. He's the one that can still be a respectful, loving human being in a social interaction regardless of what he went through. And it gives me hope. It shows me that it's possible. It shows me that no matter how hurt we might be as children, what horrible experiences we might have had, we can still be these beautiful human beings at the end of it. You inspire me as well, friend. No friends here. Either don't even trust the people I hang out with now. It's too hard. You can hang out here with us, dude. You're completely safe. None of us are gonna stab you while you're not looking, I promise. As bullying, I've went through that for years. Same. I also went through a lot of bullying, man. He's the one who affected by this, the one who was gonna come out stronger, more stronger than his father. Oh, absolutely, already stronger than his father. As well, it's so hard to live life generally, cause it's not at home. I've had shit, but everywhere I go, Gatas, everywhere you go, there you are, my dude. There you are. And I'm not trying to say you're the problem. No, no, no. But you're the one experiencing it. Always. No matter what. Ceaselessly experiencing. Man, I was bullied when I was younger. I had no friends. I ate alone. I still have no friends. I ate alone as well. Read a lot of books. I have some friends now, but only because I got very lucky and I actually found people that I could relate to and that could relate to me. Very, very lucky. And as a result of my realization of how lucky we are to be able to have these social interactions with one another, I started doing what we're doing right now to be able to share that, to be able to share that social connection, that interpretation, that love of sharing with one another, just as a general principle. Yeah, that's why I gave up, and I want no friends. I've been attacked last Christmas by a lot of people. Phone got stolen as well. I was robbed when I was 14 by older guys who ran up on me. Goodness. Where do you live, Gatas, if you're willing to share a friend? I feel like I won't have any friends by my 18th birthday. Why are people so crappy? We see what we want to see. Nova, we see what we want to see sometimes, dude. People are just surviving, man. People are just surviving. And survival isn't always pretty. And I think that's the reality of it, Nova. It's not people wanting to just, in and of itself, be bad or whatever. It's just people are having a hard time. And it's difficult in the midst of having a hard time to be a soft, kind, and loving person. But we can be. It takes some work, takes some doing, but we can be. I have friends like that, and they genuinely inspire me. Mm, I'm from Latvia, and all of this happened in the UK. Dude, I've heard some whack shit about the UK actually. Now some more. Hate the loneliness. And that thing I said about my ex, it was my only boost generally. Dude, so Gatas, like 4 years ago, you were what, 16? So I also was in that same relationship, when I was 16. That was my 2.5 year long relationship. And I get you. I get where you are right now. I know what you're feeling. Dude, it's not it. It's not it, bro. You got this, man. Like, keep showing up in this space as well. Keep sharing. You can share about that stuff every single day for the next year. That's gonna, go down here. And if that helps you move on, then we're here to do it with you, my friend. Yes, they know what they are doing. Maybe they weren't taught law or humanity growing up. Every day is a new day. That's the thing. No humanity. Or just the inability or unwillingness to notice or appreciate or respect the humanity in other beings as well. I am 80% through a divorce. Holidays are still tricky. The craving for the family unit will never stop. 80% through a divorce. I don't know divorces had percentages. I thought it was like you say you're gonna get divorced, maybe that's 50% divorced. And then maybe after you've signed the papers, that's like 30% divorced on top of it. So now the divorce just needs to be finalized. So that's what it means to be 80% or something. Maybe. Like that's the way I'm extrapolating. Alright, Melt. I'm putting my boots down now. I will push through this day. Have a good one. Uncle Becky, you got this, brother Bear. Go and share that love. Go and share your light. Thank you for being willing to share some of your time with us here today. I appreciate you, man. So many people stay together for the kids while ignoring the damage staying together is doing to said kids in many cases, to themselves. Not even the kids' problem, just to themselves. It does so much damage to themselves. My dad played this game and hung himself when I was with my ex. She had to witness it as well. He was literally purple. I ran out in shorts and socks. Goodness, Gatas. That is intense. Did you have therapy for that? Like he literally started, laughing, just going through the house with the crate. I thought he played Black Ops while playing Black Ops 1. That shit happened. No man, the doctor don't believe me. It's shocking. I can't get any help. I'm not sure you're seeing the right doctors, my friend. You know, a proper medical profession, proper mental health professional will never tell you that they don't believe you. Because you don't need to believe anything when it comes to someone's mental well-being or someone's interpretation of how they feel or what they're going through, even if they have to make some sort of traumatizing experience up to process something within themselves. A proper, professional will listen to that as well. Why is your dad like this? I genuinely want to know what goes through his head. Is he aware what he's doing? No, he's not. Gave me a present last year, Christmas, a PC, and said it wasn't mine. Then he literally said it, and my mom knows it. I'm confused right now, got this. I'm sorry, bro. Mm, I never had a dad or step anything. I hear you, Nova. I know it was the best, and I'm grateful I didn't learn how negative traits my mom was enough. Yeah, mom was absent a lot, working. It wasn't really hard. It made me a mother I am now, and I'm proud of that. Thank you so much for being willing to share that as well, Aunt B. For being vulnerable like that with us. And it makes me happy that you had a good experience through all of that. I'm going to read your comments internally, got this. Like, I feel some of our friends might be a little bit perturbed. I'm happy you're still here with us, my friend. What's the mean worth it? Nothing is worth that. Nothing is worth that. Hey, what's up, man? Hey, dwarf, making orange. Great again with that scarf. Thank you, my friend. That shirt is fire on you. Thank you, my beloved friend. Thank you so much. Yeah, I wish my abusive dad would have rather stepped out. How are you now, punk rock lobster? If you'd be willing to share, like, how did that experience influence you? It was meant to. Snowstorm. Oh, the church is fire. You can take the bad traits from your parents and turn those around. Be a better parent because of it. You're completely right. Completely right, Red. It's like turning the card around. They give you this. They give you a bunch of cards, and technically you can take the card just as face value. It's like, oh, this is the. You get dealt with the dad has alcoholism. As a. A co-creator, co-player in this game of life, like, fuck. Now I'm gonna get the alcoholism card as well, but you can turn it around and be like, doesn't alcoholism, old switcheroo. Or you can become alcoholisms as well. We have the choice, and I wouldn't say any of it is right or wrong, but it's going to be an experience within itself. And one of them is going to allow one experience, one of them is going to allow another experience. Which experience do you want? Mm-hmm. Smoke weed. Yeah, my dad. Lying, just. Literally. Dude. I love you, got this. For what it's worth, in this moment, in this space, none of that is here anymore. All there is peace, calm, tranquility, and acceptance. It stops when your kids grow up, so that pain does end. Yes, true. It can really take a toll on someone. It's so nice to hear someone be able to come out stronger because of their hardships rather than suffer from them. I agree completely. Do you feel like the same has happened to you, punk rock? You might have already answered that question. Be a chain breaker. Exactly, Marvin. You are the chain breaker. Things aren't gonna change at all if they don't change with you. Like, they're gonna just continue the same way unless they change with you. Oof. Oh, my legs. Oof. The youngest is 19 and I am 6 years in, and it does get better. You were right. 6 years into the divorce? Is that what you're saying right now, Red Pepper? Is that why it's 80% divorced right now? Either you change or nothing new happens. Yeah. And that's also okay. We can experience things in the same way indefinitely if we want to. But we don't want to. And that's realizing that and then almost living into that fact, living into the reality that change is the thing we want actually. Living into that change in a way that you're fascinated, appreciative of it. Nice to hear someone be able, yeah, absolutely. I'll be lying if I didn't say I once felt sorry for myself. I think we'd all be lying if any of us ever tried to say that. I'd be. Thank you for reminding me of that part of my humanity as well. I love you, friend. So, so much. Leonidas says, my dad died 2 years ago. Now I'm in therapy for grief and processing the complex abuse my mom put me through. It's so fucking hard, but it's so worth it. Therapy. Gata's therapy might, be very beneficial, helpful. Thank you, Leonard. Oh, it's Leo that said that. Thank you for sharing with us, Leo. Leo and the bear. Sorry to hear you didn't get the good dad you deserve. Hopefully he gets to be the good dad that little human being who gets to face this planet deserves, right? Or gets. It's one thing to feel like you weren't given the best dad. It's a whole other thing to not be the best dad. I feel the friends that come into this space and the things you share and the questions you ask and the way you feel, all of you would be wonderful parents. Oh, well, I don't have any friends. It's not that bad. I have a cat, and the cat's fucking awesome. Like, dwarf, I have like one friend, Christian. Technically Johan as well, to be completely honest. But friends is technically just a person that you can really click with. And you don't need to have that friend in a physical in a physical space. Like pen pals, for example. Literally you never even have to see the other person. Never even have to know what they look like, where they live, or maybe what country they live in, their address. You know what I'm saying? Wherever you're gonna post the postage. And you can be friends. You can have years of conversations. So, yeah. You have friends, dwarf. That's what I'm saying. We all have friends. Here we are, friending it up. Gets the best. Oh yeah. Yeah, dealing with the effects are debilitating in my case, but trying to work through it. Feeling quite hopeless though. What's making you feel hopeless? Are you feeling hopeless that you will never be able to sort through it? Are you feeling hopeless in the way that it's making you feel? Like, oh, I'm gonna be feeling this way about it forever and forever, and that's why I'm hopeless? Or do you feel hopeless because it's something you think you're gonna, repeat? Like, which one do you feel is making you hopeless? I don't want you to be hopeless, punk rock. So I have been divorced for 6 years, okay, but the aftermath lasts longer. That's the percentage, the aftermath and recovery. Thank you for clarifying. I appreciate that, Red. Nova says, was depressed at 9. During that time, no one was there for me. Instead, everyone in my family told me to go away, and I never even smiled. How did no one notice this? This was ages ago, and I still question it. How much do you miss, Nova? Like maybe that would be the way to reframe the question. Isn't realizing that they are you. that they're just you, man. You in a lower state of consciousness, lower state of awareness potentially, and that's why you are where you are, when you are, as you are right now. You know, right? So in that way, you can ask yourself that question to yourself. Don't ask it about them. Don't ask it in a way where you're gonna find the answer from them. Ask it to yourself. You know, how much do I miss? Would I miss something like that? What would I do in that situation? And then if you can solve that problem, it doesn't really benefit you to ask yourself the question, oh, why didn't they? Why didn't they? Why didn't they? Because sometimes you don't. And it's very difficult to believe that, say that, admit that to ourselves. But it is what happens, dude. It happens a lot. Go to your room, you're laughing, stop being stupid. Crying. Different. She grew up different. Yeah. You know, and technically we're not victims of that either. You know, you're a full person right now. And you are still responsible for the way that you perceive this reality and the way that your life is going to continue to change going into the future. You're the one in power. Tripping out about these things, you know, afterwards in a way where we're like, oh, why didn't they? Why didn't they? You're giving them power. You know, you're giving them power after the fact. Instead of realizing you're the one in power to move past it. Holding on to a cactus, you know, thorns pushing into your flesh, blood dripping off, but holding on because how couldn't they, you know, fucking oh. Let go. Let go. You know, I know I trip out about the same thing sometimes with my parents. You know, feeling, for me, it's not even like they chase me away. They'll have a conversation, but they'll only have a conversation on their terms or on the subject matter that they choose. So I'm never having a real conversation. I'm usually just pretending, almost, if that makes sense. Hey, he's a Noah. It's been forever, friend. Thank you for joining us again. I'm doing pretty okay. How are you? Mel, can we talk for a short bit when you're finished? Absolutely, Uncle Becky. I'll call you up, man. Tell my mom. Well, my mom is schizophrenic and my dad disowned me. So let's just be appreciative that some parents have the decency to piss off and leave us alone. Yeah, you know, and technically we can do the same. We can piss off and leave them alone. We have that power. We literally are the ones in control of that situation. Hey, Sucker Wedge! Good morning to you, Brother Bear. Thank you for joining us again. Leo says, I'm so proud of you for showing up for yourself and doing the important work. It really is hard. It is, and I'm really happy that your friends are doing that, you know, being willing to ask these questions. Tara, I don't know what I said that was funny, but I'm happy that you're appreciating it with me. Some people have more of an innate ability to change. Our brains are built different. Not everyone breaks the same, heals the same. I agree completely with that. Just like two people falling off of the same building, their damage and healing can look very different. That is a very beautiful way of saying it, actually. Some punk rock lost there. And I agree. You know, I'm not expecting anybody to heal in any specific way. I just, if anything, I'm encouraging us to take power back for ourselves. If we're getting kicked, to get up, you know, not to lay there and get kicked. To fix the thing that we're kicking ourselves about. Because fundamentally, there is no separation, you know. You are experiencing this life as this individual body, this individual personality, this individual divine individualized expression, if you will. But you're not separate from the universe. You're not separate from this earth. You're not separate from the very organisms that roam your skin right now. You're not separate from the 80% of the molecules that make up you that is not even human cells. You're not separate from your thoughts, you're not separate from the very breath that you just breathed out. And this is just a physical way of, using these words. In the spiritual realm, in my opinion, we're not even remotely separate. And with that understanding, there comes this interpretation of power. And this is just an interpretation. So, punk rock, if you don't feel like any of this resonates, please let me know. So, from that place of power, in my opinion, there's this realization that we've chosen all of this. We've chosen our pains, we've chosen our traumas, we've chosen the horrible things that we're going to experience. And as a result of these things that we've chosen for ourselves, we grow, we experience parts of the world that might not be pleasant, but without us having experienced them, there would be this void, this lack within the ultimate infinity where that thing didn't happen. And because of you, because of your experience, because of your divinity, it was experienced. And you're experiencing that right now. That's what I mean when I say take power. That's what I believe is the power that we all hold. To answer your question, I definitely have no worry about repeating it. Just all the effects from it and not finding any relief or much progress despite the effort, it actually makes me physically very sick, and that makes it harder to fight. I just had to sit with you in that punk rock. Like, I read your message maybe 3 times, but I feel any advice I can give isn't going to be that easily accepted right now. Around, don't you think? Then he disappears. Maybe he's in the phone. He's planning bad stuff. My friend, this is your experience, dude. This, you can like make that. You can think about those things. You can imagine him doing all of those horrible things. And technically, you're doing those horrible things in your mind. Or you cannot. How about that? Once I heard your heart is heavy in my prickly fingers. What the hell? Oh, who's planning that stuff? Ignores all my calls, then comes over, so I don't know. Sounds like not the best of friends, got this. Maybe it's time to say goodbye to him as well. If this perturbs you, if you feel this way about it. I think we have to understand we don't really know what our parents went through during their childhood and what they were dealing with during those times we needed them. Work on simply understanding the unknown and work on forgiveness of the fellow human, even when it's our parents. Beautiful. Yeah, that's so beautiful. And so, what do I want to say? My mom told me about, at least my mom would be right. Let me put in your path. I guess, like, if she says they're bad, I'm missing you a little bit, Gatis. I'm sorry, friend. Man, now I'm spacing. Fellow human, even as. Okay, that's what I want to say. The problem is, because growing up we have this deification slash fascination of our parents. Our parents are these superheroes, these immortal beings, these infinite wells of wisdom. And as we grow up, that understanding, that illusion almost kind of falls apart a little bit. And then because of that falling apart of that illusion, we double down on being very strict, very abrasive, very aggressive in our defense of certain points, certain feelings, certain ways that we interpret it. It's pretty creepy. What the fuck? I keep seeing 111 everywhere, and I clicked on Reddit recap, and it said that I searched. Yeah, there we go. There we go, Nova. You know, you've already had this conversation, dude. Go and look up what 111 means. It's the start, man. It's the start, though. This is where we start. The idea about going through life while you're getting kicked is to get help about learning how to take care of yourself, to prioritize your own physical and mental health, and that is getting back up. A lot of the time, you have to be told that putting yourself first doesn't just happen, you have to make it happen. That's beautiful, Dwarf. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I agree completely. The conscious, the spiritual world. 101 movement. One of my friends sees 101 a lot actually, into saying that I've got this. And I said to my friend, and he said it's 2 a.m. right now. Fuck though, yeah. Synchronicities, my friend. Like, to me, these things are literal proof that we're living on different states of existence as well. You know, like we're living this existence, you know, we're going through this experience of, oh, I'm alive, I live. And then there are these things within our existence that kind of have this air of mysticism to them, like these repeating numbers. You know, oh, I'm gonna tell my friend, hey, look, screenshot of 111. And it's like, oh, look, you just sent that 222. And we're like, synchronicities. Synchronize is a page on Insta. What you're talking about? Synchronicity is the word for seeing numbers, repeating numbers in your everyday life, because you were living your life, going about your business, and then because you were living your life, going about your business in a very synchronistic way, you found yourself looking at the clock, see some sort of statistic, you know, look at a barcode and see a number, and you keep seeing the same numbers over and over again because you're living in that synchronistic state of existence. So you see these synchronicities. I feel that. Me too. I take back your power. That means a lot coming from a place of disempowerment. Take back your power. You feel you're being disempowered? You feel I'm disempowering you? You feel I'm coming from a place of trying to disempower you? If you are, like tell me so directly, and like, you know, point me out on that, please. I didn't even look like I always typed GG YOLO when I was meant to type GM1, but automatically I was typing other shit by accident. Yeah, you're confusing me a little bit, Gatos, and it's making me more prone not to read your messages. It's like our true potential is buried. I believe you see a day that you are free and you can shine your gifts. I agree completely. I want to see this for every single one of us. You know, having experienced even an inkling of that and knowing what that's like, you want that for others. It's not something that you like, oh sure, you know, you might have had that and that's a very good thing for you to have had that. But that in itself isn't the most valuable thing. You want others to have an experience like that as well. That's what it's truly about. I remember when I was first told to take back my power, to be my own hero, and it really resonated. You are, Aunt B, the hero of your story. Literally the focal point through which it is observed. If you don't tell yourself a good story through the midst of it, if you tell yourself the story of the bad guy, it's not going to be a fun time. And I find myself doing it, you know, still. I still do it. And I try to remind myself as much as I can not to. You're giving such amazing advice. I just wanted to make a point that we're not the same. Some people look at others' issues, especially mental, through their own lens, not being able to understand how the other is struggling. Fortunately, punk rock lobster, and I'm saying fortunately very tongue in cheek, I was allowed to experience extreme states of depression. And then I say fortunately because I feel it allowed me to feel things that I wouldn't be equipped to understand if I wasn't allowed to feel them in the first place, you know. Like, goodness, depression is not fun. Feeling helpless is not fun. Not wanting to be helped because of your depression is not fun. Mr. Showcalled. Mr. Showcalled. I don't get the reference, but thank you, Tara. What is your curly hair routine? I wash it and then it dries. And then it's curly. Yeah. It just does it by itself. I like your shirt and I like you. Sheepazus. Thank you, friend. I appreciate you. Yes, this and all. So it is healthy to have firm boundaries with abusers, even if the abusers are parents. Forgiveness is difficult without proper apologies and a change of behavior. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is with the giver, my friend, as well. You know, I think that's also something that's very important to remember. Sometimes we feel that we can blame ourselves for the way our parents behave towards us as well. And then us forgiving them for their misbehavior technically is freeing ourselves of that potential burden we carry, thinking it's our fault as well. Forgive yourselves as well, my friends. Yeah, you learn a lot of empathy from suffering. Just one thing I can say, it is it is a beneficial from it. Yeah, exactly. It gives you a lot more empathy. It makes you understand the individual human a little bit better. I was just agreeing with you and appreciating your message. Thank you, Leo. Thank you so much, my friend. Like I appreciate you. I just wanted to be completely, open and soft-hearted with you as well. Like I don't try to make light of any of the suffering that we've experienced. Like it's not something to be made light about. But I do know that we don't want to continue suffering in that experience. And we won't. Not if we freaking decide not to. No? I'll see you friends again tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me here again today, for sharing the space with me. Like we had some intense chats again today. You friends are so open, so willing to talk about things that not a lot of people are willing to talk about, and I appreciate it so much. I'll see you again, Nova. We'll be here again tomorrow, my dude. I love you, friends. Goodbye, everyone. See you tomorrow, Nova. Bye bye, dude.